Welcome to Pink Kink,
where we talk about the pretty, twisted side of kink.
I'm Princess Rara.
And I'm Dara, the Electro Khaleesi.
Whether you are a new kinkster or have years of experience, Pink Kink will help you level up your kink knowledge.
Join us on this journey as we talk about our personal experiences and use the knowledge we've gained over 28 years of being involved in both private and professional aspects of this lifestyle to help you explore every facet of kink.
Get set for an adventure. Not only will you learn and grow, but we promise loads of laughter, turning each episode into a fun party. So fasten your seatbelt and let's get this show started. Pink Kink runs off the generosity of our devoted patrons.
As a patron, you will become a member of our special Discord server, receive some adorable Pink Kink stickers, as well as have access to a monthly behind-the-scenes podcast. Patrons also get discounts at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique, and our online classes at Pink Kink Institute.
In addition, our impactful and electrifying Pink Kinksters get special audio and video episodes. And finally, patrons at our highest tier will be recognized as producers, both here on the podcast and on our website.
If you would like to become a patron, you can visit us at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast or click the link at pinkkinkpodcast.com. S'more, Hacksaw, Wee Mad Beastie, To Be Better For Me, 3 a.m. Thoughts, Crash Override, Iro, Kinky Bear, Spiper No Spiping, Barbie, Navigator Bard, Frost, Coffee and Chaos, Mr. Pillsbury, Peaches, Mighty Owl, Princess Sassy Pants, Lady and Lex, Chaos Monster, Jessa Lady, DJ Harlow, Ophelia, Drew, Daddy's Pumpkin, Birchbeard, Lady to Kitten, Mongoose, Sadia Lemon, Daddy Dom Gav, Dismal, and Noir.
I am so excited about this episode.
Because you found it on social media and it was inspired by social media and TikTok had a huge role in it?
Nope. Well, actually, you're the one who came up with the episode idea.
Yes, and I found the person.
So I'll give you the credit / blame, just depending upon whether people like it or not.
Hey.
If they like it, you get all the credit.
Well, okay, yeah. No, they'll like it. It'll be awesome.
Well, it's one of those kinks that people kind of either are like, ooh, or people are like, ew. There's like no in between on it.
She's already cracking up.
But yeah, so of all things, I was on Facebook. See, I'm not on TikTok all the time. Sometimes I'm on Instagram, sometimes I'm on Threads, sometimes I'm on Facebook. And it was in one of my spicy romance groups. And somebody said, oh my God, I just found this kink and I need all the recommendations for books about this kink. And then, of course, a lot of other people are going, I've never heard of it. What is it? And so people are describing it. And they were already not 100% correct.
Oh, dear.
So
all right.
I put on my educator hat and I popped in and said, just an FYI, guys, this is not just for men. You can also do it with vaginas.
Yes. And I took that class last winter fire and oh my God, it was so fucking good. That's actually, I think, what inspired this episode in the first place.
Right. So the only thing I'm bummed about is I didn't have the link to this episode to put into this group going, if you want to really learn about it, check this episode out.
Well, you will soon.
I will soon. So that's
it'll be like a month, but you can reference back to it.
But yeah, so I'm very excited because it's just like, I'm telling you, Big Brother was watching. I feel like Big Brother's watching all the time. Hi. And so
I think we're all NPCs in Rara's Truman Show.
Look, listen, I am of the firm hope that the life that I live right now is a TV show, a movie, something, and I am going to wake up and none of this shit will have happened.
Girl, don't even start. don't even fucking start. We're
Why
not
would you
doing
wish this away? This is awesome.
Well,
No,
that
not this
is
part. She's talking about fucking Trump being elected. She keeps
Oh,
going back to
oh, don't get
that.
me started.
I'm sorry, but that will continue to haunt me for the next 4 years. So,
Look,
Uh,
we've been in the wrong timeline for about 12 years now.
where did okay, what happened? Because did Marty McFly fuck this up?
I would assume so, or Doc put the wrong gigawatts in the thing or something. I don't know. It's well, you know what people are saying. You know how they found aliens in the ocean? That's like
Yeah.
a thing this week. Well, they're like, is it the doctor in his TARDIS coming to fix this timeline? Because please.
Somebody, whether it's the doctor, whether it's Marty McFly, I don't care who it is, somebody please, dear God, come fix this timeline already.
Yeah, like
I've had enough.
I'm done. I'm fucking done. Anyway,
All right, let's get to more fun stuff then.
let me introduce our giggler over here.
As she giggles again.
I mean, that's kind of cute. It's more like a chuckle, though. I'm not sure it's really a giggle.
Guffaw, guffaw. Tahi, tahi. Chuckle, chuckle, chortle, chortle.
Oh my God. This
It all
episode's
works
going to be
perfectly.
fun. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do my very first reading introduction because usually it's Rah Rah that does it.
This is how you know we've changed the timeline. Dara's going to do it instead of me.
Listen, this timeline changed a while ago because we have switched places on several episodes now.
Yes.
I would like to introduce you to Noir Legrand.
Ooh.
Who apparently is French.
The name is Legrand, of course, but of course.
Yeah, you are the person with the least French of French accents I have ever heard in my life. So we're gonna let me read this. I went through the trouble of finding it. I'm gonna read it. The nurturing and seductive Amazon Dom, 6 foot tall, size 12 to 13 shoe. My God.
That's a big girl. That's a lot of woman.
I'm dead. I can't get through this. Following her guest demo top gigs at major local parties and events, including Sinful and Naughty, Risque, and the DC Fetish Ball. Sound familiar, people? This is how we know her.
The butt puncher.
Yes. Oh, God.
The infamous butt puncher.
Shut up. I can't read this thing. You're worse than Rah Rah. Domina Noir
That's a
has quickly
compliment.
become a favorite among kinksters who appreciate her confident demeanor and sensual approaches to impact and electro play, which I taught her.
Thank you, Dara.
I get credit for that. Through her roles as a board mistress for Women Rule, collaborating Sister in Dominance and Sinful and Naughty events, and occasional host mistress for DC Subclub's Dinner with Doms, Domina Noir advances endeavors that embrace, promote, and celebrate dominant femmes of all forms. Additionally, she can often be found volunteering with area dungeons and conventions to learn, share information, and help keep the larger community safe and accessible for both new and long-time kinksters. She is excited about the recent launch of her Tea Party series, which, by the way, I went to. So much fun.
Yeah.
Adding to her growing list of personal engagements and community events. There, see, I got through it. Thank you for shutting up, both of you.
Dun, 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 dun.
We can behave when we want to.
You don't want to very often.
That's a whole different issue, but we can.
Welcome, Noir.
Hey, hey, hey.
We
Thank
should
you
tell
for
the
having
story.
me.
We should tell the story of how we met.
Okay.
So, what was it? Winterfire 2 years ago?
Yes.
And I was doing which electro class was it?
I don't
It
even
was
remember what it was called, but I know you had the 2B, the E-stem, you had that there.
Okay, so it was the second one. It was the one at like 9 o'clock in the morning and we were dead.
Mm-hmm.
And
But I was there at 9 o'clock. I couldn't wait to come and listen to you.
I was so glad that I went to bed at a normal, reasonable hour. And the only reason I did that was because I knew that my class was like dark 30 in the morning. So anyway, there were people there. It was great. It was a good time. It was the one that wasn't about the wand.
Correct.
It was everything else.
Correct.
And you were there.
Front
and
row.
Came up to me and I was like, whoa, who is this tall, dark, and goddess?
Noir Legrand.
Noir's very tall. Very,
Especially
very tall.
when she's wearing the heels. I was like, whoa, she's intimidating as fuck. Like, you guys think I'm intimidating? This one's way more, but she's so much fun.
Aw.
So anyway, we got in touch and it turns out you're a friend of a friend kind of a deal. And I got to go to one of your women's rules parties
Yes.
and teach like a mini on electro. And I think you at that point were just addicted.
Oh, yeah. I was addicted before that. Like, you were just, it was sealing the deal. Yeah. And you gave me new toys that I had to go out and buy. I had to go get the acupuncture, whatever
The
that thing
pen.
is. The pen. I had to get the pen because of you.
You
I
had to
had
get
to
the
get
2B.
I had to get the 2B because of you. I absolutely had to get the rubber, the conductive silicone rubber rings.
Mm-hmm.
That was absolutely probably the thing that sold me the most. That was the first order of business, was to
Well,
get
yeah,
those. Thank
because we
you.
got to because with those you can put them on penises and torture them, which is so
Oh,
much more
yeah.
fun.
Dara is so mean to the penises. So mean.
Have you seen Noir do what she does to penises?
I actually haven't. I've been fortunate enough at Sinful and Naughty to be parked next to Noir while she does electro. But since I'm usually
Well,
beating people up or making them bleed, I haven't really been paying attention
yeah,
other
see,
than
we don't do that
sound
shit.
sound effects, which are very happy people sound effects.
Well, Noir, you don't do like the penis stuff at the clubs, right? I don't.
Correct. No, I
Yeah,
don't.
that's too close to that's
Yeah,
private session
that's
stuff.
something special.
Well, speaking of torturing penises. That's kind of what the episode is about.
But again, not just penises.
Not just penises.
It's not just for
So,
have
have you done?
Wait a minute. Should that be the title of the episode? It's not just for penises.
Yes.
Well,
Sounding not just for penises.
I think it's very true. However, I cannot speak to female sounding at all. I have not done any female sounding, and unlike Dara, I missed the class that they had at the last conference. So
Girl,
I
let me
cannot
tell
speak to
you,
female sounding.
when that class was done, I went upstairs and jumped Daddy J.
Thank
I
God
remember that.
thank God I
I
was not
remember
in the
hearing that.
room and I was at another class
No.
because that room
It-
was empty and they could fuck to their heart's content.
Woohoo!
I knew you were going to be in another class for another hour and a half. So I was like, let's go. Let's go. Because that was the fucking sexiest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God.
Oh
I'm getting chills.
man. I haven't experienced female sounding yet.
You need to take a
Okay,
class on
it's
it
on
and
my
watch
list.
it, especially with like the live peoples. I just okay, so you know my biggest thing is sound, right? So
Right. Oh,
not
right.
sounding, but sound
Right.
audio.
Audio. Uh-huh.
So when I was watching this, they basically just made these two volunteers come. And it was one person that had experienced it before and was able to, it was weird. They were having this done and were able to describe it live, like describe the sensation, describe what was happening, all of this while it was happening. And we're like, this is fascinating.
Ooh.
And once or twice the camera fell and it was all up in this person's business and the camera fell and we were like, ah!
Oh, because they had a camera up close, so he was being projected. I think I remember you saying
Yes.
that it was being projected, so you could see everything intimately,
Yes.
and you were hearing. Oh my
So I was in fucking heaven.
goodness. Literally.
Yes. And then the second person had never been sounded before. So this was like, their first time doing it. They couldn't really describe the sensation as well.
Uh-huh.
But when they put the Hitachi on the sound while it was inside the urethra,
Uh-huh.
that's when shit went crazy.
I think we
The
probably
vibrating sound.
should pause for just a quick second and explain exactly what sounding is for
There you
those
go.
who might not know,
Let's start with that, Noir, because I think we're freaking people out.
Sure.
which they're used to if they listen to us, but still.
So sounding it is actually truly a medical practice. I think it's very debatable. I don't think all doctors seem to approve of the practice, but it is medical. And so where it would come in is it's used as a treatment for different types of, like, if a person has maybe like a stricture of the urethra, things that are reducing their urine flow. So the idea is that this dilator is used to stretch the urethra to help a person be able to go to the bathroom. I've seen feedback from urologists, like, a true urologist who are like, there is a lot of other stuff that we can do. That's not
Stents,
really, yeah. So, but
because I
that
get
is
them
where
all
it
the
comes
time.
from.
I get stents all the time.
But this is where, to the best that I would explain it, this is where it comes from. It's this stretching of the urethra. So yeah, where it has been done, started as medical, of course, the pervs got a hold of it and found a way to make it kinky and hot
Of
and
course.
erotic, right?
As we do.
We get off on it, right?
And what would make somebody wanna do it receive it, I should say, because that's why you'd want to give it, why you'd wanna receive it are gonna be completely different. So, what does it do for the person receiving it? What's the fun and excitement for them?
Okay. So as I said, my experience has only been with people who have a penis. And so I asked some penis owners that have experience sounding with me why they like it so I could kind of give their perspective.
Yay.
And what they have described is, for one, it's you're being touched in a place that you're not usually touched. It's an internal stimulation. So whereas, I can touch your cock any kind of way on the outside, and you can get all kinds of sensations from that external stimulation, it is a totally different feeling that of being stimulated inside the penis. When people are skilled enough, and this I would say is like, I think I am 101. I would say maybe at around a 301 level. You can actually stimulate the prostate internally. So most often prostate stimulation is through the ass. You can hit it, but you're still getting to it through a wall. There's still something between, whatever you're using to stimulate or penetrate the anus and the prostate. With sounding, it is possible to go through the urethra and go and directly stimulate the prostate.
Oh.
Yeah. So 301, I'm not at 301. I will say it can be done. I will say that requires more information and education and skill and training beyond what I'm talking about right here, but it is a can do. And definitely
Mm,
a reason that people would want it. So
that
it's
makes
Well,
it's a
sense.
whole nother kind of sensation and stimulation.
well, I can speak about the vagina one because of that
Uh-huh.
class that I took. So what they were describing is the first we got an anatomy lesson,
Hmm.
and the clitoris, which is right up against, well, not right up against, but it's really really close to the urethral opening. The clitoris actually is not just, for those of you who don't know, it's not just that little knob. It has nerves that go all the way down inside, like further back and further down than you think.
Hmm.
So, what happens when you actually put the sound into the urethra on a vagina is it does actually go back and touch a lot of those nerves from the clit.
Hmm.
And when you do that, it actually stimulates the clitoral nervous system.
Okay.
That's what I learned from the class. I have notes.
All right now.
A lot of notes.
Lifelong learner.
I'm fascinated this because I've had, as I said, I've had many, many a stent. Way more
Uh-huh.
stents than one person probably should have ever had in their life. And
Uh-huh.
stents that I've had the doctor take out and stents that I've literally pulled out myself in the shower, which
Uh-huh.
is
Mm-mm. Nope.
which is yeah, it comes out and I kid you not, when you finally pull it out, it's like a foot long
Yeah.
and you realize, shit, that thing was inside me. That's wild. And I'm trying to think if at any time when I pulled it out, I felt any sort of, clitoral stimulation.
Well, I mean, you have to like, obviously your that the one that you're doing is an actual legit medical thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So probably either way not going to feel the same. But if you
Well,
were
I
to
think it's
do it,
also thinner. I think it's also much
yeah,
thinner.
sounds are the god, they're like the size of crochet
Sounds come in
hooks.
all kind of different. There's all kinds of different shapes and sizes. There is a wide range of what sounds can look like. So There are textured sounds, there are straight sounds, there are curved sounds, there's sounds with ridges and ribs on them,
There's sounds that you push a button
silicone
and they
sounds,
vibrate.
vibrating sounds. I just got a
So the
well, I didn't
sound
just get it.
so just for those people who don't know, the
Mm-hmm,
sound is the piece of equipment
mm-hmm.
that is
Mhm.
going into the urethra.
Yeah,
The
and
tool, the
Okay,
sounding is
dilator.
the practice of putting the tool inside the urethra.
We got
gotcha.
it. We got
Very
Yeah,
medical
because
terminology
I
right
mean,
now.
I
it's very
haven't
medical.
yeah. Well, I haven't done it myself, but obviously I've been involved in the kink community in long enough, and I know enough people who do it that I know
Hmm.
the technical terms and stuff, but I'm assuming, especially based upon that Facebook group, many, many people know next to nothing about this.
So,
So
Hmm.
I'm just
weird
trying to
thing,
clear that stuff up for them.
I first discovered it. I didn't know it was a kink. When okay, so I've mentioned this before. I have the very, very first sub that I ever had way back when I was 19. We were 19 years old, all of that. We still keep in contact every once in a while. When he needs a fix, he'll contact me. But he actually told this story of when what his wife actually had to get this as a medical procedure.
Hmm.
And his wife is as vanilla as they come. I knew her in high school too. Blech. He told me a story of when he went with her to get this procedure done. And by the time he was done telling it to me, I was so goddamn turned on. And from that story, I started reading, like, on Literotica, you can find stories about just about anything. So I
Uh-huh.
started looking for things like that. The ones that always intrigued me the most were the vagina sounding ones,
Uh-huh.
because the penis sounding ones, like, you can find videos on that all the time, but there's very, very few instances that I've found of vagina sounding. So that part always fascinated me and turned me on the most, mostly because they make the most noise. Uh, just putting that out there,
Okay, so
Uh-huh.
then this
obviously.
leads to the next question. We've discussed that the what the receivers get out of it.
Hmm.
What do you, the givers, what does it do for you?
So I have had the people that I have shared this with have different things that they like. So there's a person who I've played with who their gig is medical play, the entire setup of the medical situation. So you can make sounding can be it can be very procedural. If I'm in the mood for the play where, like, I want to wear my doctor's robe, I want to put on my stethoscope, I'm checking your blood pressure. It can be the entire scene of the doctor's office. That in and of
Yeah.
it, that is super hot to me. It can be when you're involving the swabbing, like how technically be swabbing, cleaning the body with iodine, like an absolutely the whole trip to the doctor's office vibe. That in and of itself is fun. There are some people who, if that so let me back up a little bit. I guess what I should say is I enjoy knowing that I am controlling the bottom's arousal. So whatever and however we get there, there are things that it may not have been my first thought or what my idea was, but as I realized that getting into this and doing this, I realized that the person under my hands is turned on, I'm all in. So
Yep.
I'm all in. The same way that that super sterile medical type setup can be a complete turn on for one person that I've been with, that exact scenario that I just described was horrifying to someone else. And so in playing with a different person, I can also be extremely sensual. You're imagining the trust and the intimacy that can come from this type of an encounter. The same way I just described how sterile it can be profoundly intimate. So me trying to get the person to relax, as I'm calming them, as I'm comforting them, using nice slow tone, making eye contact, the bonding that happens between us. You've got to have a shit ton of trust if you're going to let me stick a metal pole in your dick. So that 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 intimacy is so powerful. When I was doing this, I have one bottom who I really enjoy playing with, and he just left. In our last session, we did some sounding, and now he moved out of the country. So
Aw.
yeah, so I sent him a message, and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to be talking about this. You know, what can I share?" So he sent me this whole email where he was describing like something I didn't even know, but as he was talking about how powerful and how emotional and how much he enjoyed the scene. And it's one thing like if you have a person who's bottoming and they just want to, they're like, oh, I want to give up control. You're not going anywhere. If I'm, I can say it's like CBT or just any other kind of way that I'm doming. I can grab you by the balls. You might try to wiggle, you might try to struggle. We're still going to play this power game. If I'm holding your dick and you see I have this metal rod and I'm getting ready to put this in your urethra, you're not moving. You're not wiggling. You're
I
not
would hope
playing. You're
so.
not
You're not
fucking
moving.
around. I'm in charge, right? And this like somewhat helpless, but not in a bad way, like the complete trust, like completely giving himself to me. I mean, you talk about a joystick, like I am completely in control of the whole shit right
Oh my
now.
God, I
It's
just got a
mine.
visual.
I did too. I'm
Okay,
like, are we playing
it's
okay.
Pac-Man?
mine.
I need the
I love
seed.
that.
I need you and Dara side by side sounding, and we're gonna do like this whole like a Pac-Man thing.
Oh
And
my
as you
God.
guys,
Can we play Pac-Man on a screen in the background?
yes, and yes, please.
Oh my fucking God. That would be amazing. I'm totally picturing this now. I'm going, boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
We're going up, we're going left. I get a good
Yes.
grip. We're steering it. Yeah.
We need to
I
have the
love
Pac-Man
it.
playing in the background, like just as a video.
Waka, waka,
I'm
waka, waka,
dying.
waka,
Waka,
waka.
waka, 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 waka.
So what is
Oh,
not to love?
you need to make your bottom make that sound. Forget that. Add to the bottom. The one receiving
You have to
has
go
to sit
waka,
and
waka,
go
waka,
waka waka
waka,
waka
waka
as
while
you're
I'm
moving
holding
it
your dick.
around. Yep.
Oh my God.
You're welcome.
Boop, boop, boop,
Yes.
boop, 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 boop.
Sorry,
New scene unlocked. New level unlocked.
I am not normal.
Oh no, that was fucking brilliant. We're so doing it. Probably I don't know where I don't know what party place we can go to that will have the screen in the background though, because your house we'd have to like bring down a TV and like
No, I'll bring down
I have a screen.
we have our extra monitor. I'll just set up the extra monitor.
no, it needs to be big, like it needs to be
Oh,
projected.
I have
okay.
that screen that we just used at the last tea when we did Rocky Horror. That whole
Okay.
movie screen.
Okay,
Yeah,
there you go.
we'll put like a sheet if we need to, and then all we need
Mm-hmm.
is really the projector.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it
I
needs to
love
be
it.
huge and like everybody just sit around and watch us play Pac-Man.
So it
Yeah.
is extremely enjoyable. It is absolutely a power trip and it is very intimate. The way that I do it, my style is sensual. As I said, everything that I do, I tend to be on the more sensual side with it, in a sensual approach. I'm sexy with mine.
All right, wait a minute. That implies that hurting people is not sexy. I am very sexy when I am hurting people and making them bleed. I'm just saying.
You are. You
Thank you.
absolutely
Thank you.
are.
Agree to disagree.
That's fine. All
It's
right,
all
so
sexy in the right place in the right time.
I'm trying to find the damn chat so I can post Pac-Man sounding
Yeah,
as our
just leave
as
it
our
in
no
that.
context.
Oh, our no context. So, by the way, if you do become a member of our Patreon, one of your perks is being a part of our Discord server. And one of the fun things about the Discord server is that when Dar and I are recording, we love to just put in no context clues of what we're talking about. So you can enjoy all of that for as little as $2 a month. Just go to patreon.com/Pink Kink Podcast. And now back to our program.
And you get
Oh.
adorable pink kink stickers.
Yes, that is true.
Look at her. All right, looks like we have a new host. That's fine. Then I don't have to do it anymore, and I will just go back to just editing. All right.
All right. So I guess the next important question is this is not like Impact where you can just spank somebody or paddle somebody. You gotta be trained on this shit.
Oh yes.
So how does one
I've
go
refused
about
to do this until I'm like properly trained.
So how did you go about getting trained? Like how does one learn so you don't fuck somebody up the wrong way?
Because you can really fuck somebody up. So I am not saying to do as I did, but I will answer the question about what I did. So
Uh-oh. Now I'm
Listen,
scared.
I
stop
started
learn from our mistakes, people.
right, right. In terms of like as many classes and resources as there are in our area, look how rare it is that there's a formal class, formal instruction on sounding. So the way that I started, like, okay, well, backing up a little bit, I knew I wanted to do this since back in, I don't know when, I saw it in some movie like in college and I was obsessed ever since. It was always like, damn, I want to do that. But it is kind of weird. Like I'm not going around telling people, hey, can I stick this in your cock, please? So it was actually a male who brought it to me first. And he wanted it done. He had had it done somewhere else. He was the more experienced person and he was able to talk me through what he wanted. So to some degree service topping, or that's actually service topping. So
Yeah.
an experienced bottom was able to talk me through how to do, what he wanted and what he needed. That had been my experience for the first couple of people, being able to say, at least I'm not nervous to do it and I am into it. I'm going to enjoy it. That was enough. And so experienced bottoms helped me. It wasn't until about a year ago, it was actually around this time last year, a friend of mine was able to help me get invited to, there was a medical conference, a 2-day workshop up in Philly. And there was an amazing Dom who had come over actually all the way from the UK. And she was here and she did a whole 2-day workshop on all things medical, many things medical. I shouldn't say all, many
Shh.
things medical.
Wish I'd gone to that. That
Oh
sounds
my God.
amazing.
We had the best time.
Well,
And
fuck. Is it happening again? I want to go.
I will check and find out. I know it was a big deal. Like, yeah, there was just a big deal in the ins and outs about what it was that brought her over for that. But we did cover sounding, and bless his heart. Oh my goodness. So there was one lone sub who volunteered, and there were 10 gorgeous Doms. So
Oh boy.
that one guy had to just lay there and suck it all up while 10 beautiful women all took turns holding his dick and playing with it and trying to figure. So I guess,
Poor
again,
baby.
poor baby, to some, the idea you have 10 women handling your junk. And at the same time, you have 10 different women all trying to stick stuff in your urethra. So I'm sure that I'm sure there were some highs and lows.
Literally.
Oh my
The
God.
sadists in us that did have, that was just all kinds of fun on all kinds of levels. I did talk to him about it, and he did absolutely rate the experience as a plus and a positive, and he loved it. So
Oh, that's good.
that was it. So yeah, I just had training with someone who is a specialist in medical a year ago after having done it multiple times. So don't do what I did. Try to find the medical training first.
That sounds awesome. So like what kind of like when you were there, did you learn like negotiation first or was it safety or like what all did you learn there?
The main things that we were talking about were the safety. So again, as we're talking about this, to put something in someone's urethra, the size of the sound matters, not only in terms of
Size
comfort,
matters.
but size matters. And
Sorry, I'm
bigger is
childish.
not bigger is not always better,
See?
but
That's what we
small
say all the time.
but small really can be bad. Small really can be a bad
That's all
thing
we've
in
said.
sounding. Yeah.
So you need something in the middle
It needs to
because
be in the middle.
listen, it needs to be Goldilocks. That's all
Exactly.
I'm saying.
The Goldilocks sound, a sound that is too small, if it is too thin, or something that is too sharp or too pointy, you absolutely can cause some very serious damage to a person. So you never want to use anything. So like you can kind of eyeball it when you're looking at the penis and you kind of see the side from external. Again, I don't know. I'm not speaking to how this works on a female body. On the male body, you can eyeball the size of the opening at the top of the penis, and I can kind of gauge if the size sound that I'm going to need to start with, and I want to start with something that is pretty close to the size of the urethral opening. Um, I lost my train of thought. What was the rest of the question? Did I answer the whole question, or did I
Well,
You
we
did I
did.
did.
We
get
were
off?
talking about safety because you
Oh,
were going
safety. Yeah, yeah,
too
yeah.
small or too big.
Being clean. Everything and everyone has to be really, really, really clean. The cleaning can be part of the ceremony and part of the play and part of the excitement, or you can clean before, but everything needs to be washed and cleaned. You can clean, like I said, with iodine if you want to try to, really be extra safe, but you don't have to use iodine. I only play with metal and the one silicone toy that I have. So the toys that I have, I can boil them. I boil them to clean them. You want to make sure they are not still warm or hot when you when you get ready to use them, when they're
Oh
ready to
my
be
God.
inserted. They need to be cooled back down to room temperature, but boiled and then like set them somewhere nice and neat and clean to dry. Very clean hands, careful about your fingernails. If you are using gloves, gloves can be, they're going to be good for safety and cleanliness. They can also add to the excitement of the medical scene, but you don't absolutely have to use gloves. It's going to be a choice between the people who are involved.
Calculated risks.
Calculated risk. If you are using gloves, when you're looking at the gloves and lube, you need a lot of lube, lots and lots and lots of lube. So balancing, if you're using gloves, are the gloves, making sure that you're still able to have a good control over the penis. So you don't want the glove to be too slippery and there's too much lube and like you're not able to maintain, control over the dick while you're trying to insert the sound.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No.
It's a fine balance. So then the thing that gets tricky with sounding, I'm talking about this lube. I'm talking about how much you've got to, hold the junk in your hand and everything that's happening at the same time. In and of itself, by now a lot of guys might start getting hard. I'm holding your dick in my slippery hand. It is easier to insert a sound when the penis is still more flaccid. If he's
Hmm,
getting too erect, it can get to be a little bit trickier.
okay.
So
Do you
it's
know why? Because I mean, it just would seem to me that would be the opposite, that a
Yeah, like
Mm-mm,
hard
straight
dick
shot down.
mm-mm.
goes straight up.
It's actually easier and better because they're relaxed. It's not, the penis isn't filled with blood. Once it starts
Ah,
to get engorged and it's swollen, it's harder to stick, to insert anything. So
because that area also gets swollen.
it's
So,
engorged,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
Okay,
So
that
it's
makes
easy.
sense.
Yeah, it's easier when it's flaccid. So trying to get the magic recipe of all of this together, and the way that my technique is, I'll start toward the balls. I'm getting a good grip so that I have a nice firm control of the penis so it's not like wiggling around. And then if the person is not circumcised or uncircumcised, that can add a layer of what's going on, trying to make sure that,
Literally.
getting, yeah. To be
Sorry.
able to get the skin back so that I can really, see what I'm doing. There are, with all of these things too, they're playing at the same time into what the guy is feeling. So if I'm manipulating his foreskin, as I'm holding the shaft of the penis, like all of this at the same time, again, when you start talking, and then when I get the sound inserted, and then they're starting to get the internal stimulation at the same time, all of this together is really playing into, to me, it doesn't, it seems like a no-brainer as to why would anybody want this done. Yeah, I can get, it's kind of scary to think about having something inserted, but I can also definitely understand how this can be really pleasurable for a person.
That's awesome.
All right, so 2 quick things. 1, just an FYI for anybody listening, if you have a fish allergy, you may be allergic to iodine,
Hmm.
so just be aware of that. I I have found that out. I can take
Thank you for saying
iodine
that. Yeah.
topically, but not internally.
Hmm.
So just to be I did not realize that iodine was an issue for fish allergies until all my lovely medical things. But then I had a question because you talk about the lube. There's different kinds of lubes. Like, I know I have for anal play, I have a lube that helps desensitize to, numb
Oh,
the
it's got
area
a
a little
yeah,
bit.
a numbing agent in it.
So, would that be good or bad to use for sounding?
I would say that the decision to use a lube with a numbing agent or not would be a very personal preference. What the bottom wanted to feel and what they wanted to accomplish, whether they want to be numbed or whether they want to feel the entire experience. If what they're getting out of it also has to do with some of the feeling of the stretching, that might actually be some of what the person wants. Even if there, whether there is some discomfort that they're getting, or it's just to receive the pleasure of the internal stimulation. Again, I'd say it's a personal choice if you want to numb any of that or not, or have it numb to start with, and then be able to, as that sensation starts to, as the numbing starts to wear off, very personal choice.
Cool.
Gotcha. All right.
How do you manage like the boundaries of that? Like, what do you like? Because there's got to be some mental play to it too.
For me, I think I look at it in terms of the same way I would approach limitations and not doing anything that is beyond the scope of my comfort level or what I'm comfortable with for what suits my risk profile. There is a lot of things that can be done and a lot of levels or intensity with this play beyond what I do. And I have to be very upfront and say, like, the idea of going far enough down into the penis to where you're reaching the prostate, great reason to do sounding. That's not something that I am comfortable doing right now. When I am doing the level that I do, I stay within the height, the length of the glands. So, and I've asked men what they feel. Most of them seem to agree. The point that the tip of the sound is within the head of the penis, they can feel there's a lot of nerve endings in the head. So once the sound is inserted, if you're massaging the head, squeezing the head, you can even squeeze a little bit. Like I can feel me squeezing around the sound as I'm squeezing the head of the penis. As you turn, you can, spin the sound a little bit.
Oh,
You can move the sound in and out, slowly moving it in and out, all within just the height or the length of the head of the penis. That's the area where I personally play. That's a boundary that I stick within. It is absolutely possible to go further down so that the sound is going through the shaft. You can go past the shaft down toward, you can, if somebody might want you, I don't know why, but maybe someone wants to feel the pressure on their bladder, when moving more like the same reason or why if a person is enjoying like catheterization, you can definitely go deeper with the sounds. Again, so these are things that I think are important to understand and discuss between, myself and anyone I'm playing with. How far did they think I was going to go? What were they wanting to experience? And making sure that we're on the same page. Also, if there are things that I see that are a sign, you're seeing something physical, a physical abnormality of the skin or, of the organ itself that looks like, if there's some medical concern or a health concern that looks like something that I know I would want to say, I'm not comfortable playing. This is a time and this is a kink where, like so many, it's really important to have a kink friendly doctor. This is something that I would really recommend if you can really talk to your doctor up front, explain what it is that you want to do, and or if you've been, playing this way, to be able to get checkups so that you can make sure that your body is healthy, and to make sure that you're safe, that and it's internal. So needing to be able to know internally, that everything is fine, that no damage or anything has been caused. So a kink friendly doctor is going to be a big plus in the toolkit for someone who wants this kind of play.
that's good advice.
So what are some of the things you would need to bring up during negotiations beyond the typical ones that we talk about in any type of scene? Like I know, for example, when I'm doing any type of needles or blood play, one of the questions I ask specifically is, do you have any clotting issues? Right? So there's got to be specific questions you use during negotiations for sounding.
Well, I think one of them is how deep do you want to go, right?
Correct. Making, like I said, making sure that we're on the same page of what my skill and comfort level is, and making sure that that's going to be agreeable to the person. And as I said, the people who I have experience sounding with, they have all been experienced bottoms. So I asked them what are precautions or things that they've experienced in the past that they want me to know or they need me to know. In this particular activity, I have relied a lot on information more from the bottom. And then On my side, it's me disclosing what my skill level is and making sure that we're a match. This is also very much where it kind of starts sounding like when you hear those commercials for pharmaceuticals and you listen to all the things that can happen
Yeah.
and you'd be like, I don't know. So, in the event that I did find someone who really wanted to try this for the first time and I'm going to be their first top, I would really want to make sure that they understand the risks of this. Some of the, I mean, it can be pretty serious. It can lead to leakage, like after sounding, making sure the person understands they might experience a little bit of urine leakage. If it's, a little bit or for a short time, that might not be terrifying. But if it goes on more than a day or two, to know that it's something that they might need to go see a doctor about. They can experience bleeding.
That's going to be my next question.
Yeah, they might experience bleeding. It can lead to erectile dysfunction. It can cause scar tissue to form if it's done, too many times or too often, or if there's a problem with how it's done. There are people who want to be sounded with things that are not sounds. That is something that I think I would absolutely say needs to be discussed in negotiation. I am only comfortable using actual sounds. I've heard of people using pencils, not my risk profile.
No.
I have heard of people using ice. You can freeze ice, like freeze ice in a straw or freeze ice in like those little the balloons that clowns use to make balloon animals. I saw someone did that on a video once. Those are all things that you really need to talk about and make sure that both people are comfortable using whatever the implements are and comfortable with the risks that come with using those implements. Of course, there's a risk for infection. It's important to tell the person you need this. These are things to look out for. And if you're using things that are not designed as urethral toys, they can realizing that the implements might break. Something can get broken or something can get stuck inside the urethra. So there's a lot that can really go wrong with this type of play, and a lot of understanding and communication that really needs to happen. What we are or are not going to use, and things that you need to look for that you would really want to get some follow up or care or treatment if you're experiencing them after the play.
Yeah, that really does sound like a commercial. If you take this, side effects may occur.
It is not all fun. It is definitely an area of play to take very seriously and really be well informed before you engage. Do not I hope no one thinks that, oh, well, I listened to Noir on Pink Kink and now I'm ready to try this. That is not that is not my
Yeah,
goal.
and
You still want to get some information.
if you are dumb enough to do that, do not tell anybody that you learned it from us, okay? Just I feel like we need a disclaimer. We
A
are not
disclaimer.
responsible for stupid people who listen to a podcast and do
Podcasts are not classes. Please don't try this at home without a
Exactly.
professional present.
Hopefully, this
exactly.
information will inspire questions and ideas and curiosities and lead people to seek more guidance and information and education before
Yes.
partaking.
All right, so let's talk about misconceptions
Mhm.
that are common around sounding, like sounding is just for penises, right? We've already established it is not just for penises. What are some of the other misconceptions and stereotypes that you've heard that you would like to get on a pink kink soapbox
Oh,
and
can I put the
correct?
soapbox in?
Go ahead, put the soapbox in.
Please do.
Soapbox achieved. Go on
Yes,
up, Noir.
climb on up.
Well, the big one that I was hoping to reveal was that sounding is not just for penises; it
Oh,
also
sorry.
works on vaginas. No, no, fine, no, you're fine.
I'm used to
Um,
ruining it for other people, so sorry.
not at all. I guess
It's a
another big
talent.
one, another big one is has to do with stretching. So, as far as I can understand from my research, where my research has led me to land is that stretching is not permanent. So some people might think like there are different stretching, like you see, like people do stretching of say like your earlobes, and they learn that when you do this enough, you can have this lasting. As far as I can tell, stretching of the urethra usually lasts maybe for a couple of days, depending on how the body heals. And after that, it does seem, I am concluding your body kind of goes back to normal. So if anyone was concerned that this is going to leave them with some long lasting extreme deformity or something like that, I feel safe saying that's not what research is showing.
Well, what about the people that like, okay, so kind of like when you pierce your ears,
Hmm.
you get like a plug or something and you leave that in for years at a time and then your ears are all stretched out. I have a client who does a cock cage with a sound in it,
Hmm.
like just leaves it on.
Hmm.
How safe is that?
I believe, again, I'll say it's up to that person and it's up to their risk profile. I would say, is it safe? Safe is a tricky word. What are they doing with that on? I've heard of people having sex while they have a sound inserted. I say it's safe. It's your choice. It's your risk profile. What is? It's not something I would do. Not
No, that
something
makes
I would
sense.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, see, from my understanding is the occasional sounding is not gonna permanently stretch anything. You kinda have to really go through urethral dilation. Like, as
Hmm.
somebody who, as I said, I have stents regularly,
Hmm.
and the object is for it to be more permanent, but when I get stents in, I get them in for weeks. It's
Hmm.
not just for a couple of hours for a scene. It is weeks of a stent. Or I know people who, because of kidney issues, that they have like permanent stents where you have the stent in for like 3 months and then a new fresh stent is put in. And that the
No,
goal
thank you.
that the goal well, you're if it's any consolation, Dara, you're out when they put it in. You're not awake. So,
Yeah, but
Hmm.
still, no, thank you.
it's not fun because I already complain at my age that I'm always one good sneeze or cough away from peeing in my pants, or as we
Hmm.
proved in an episode, one good chuckle away from peeing in my
Two,
pants.
2 episodes now.
Yeah. Hey,
2.
sorry. We're funny. I laugh. I pee. Um,
The research that I have chosen to subscribe to lends itself to saying that the stretching is not long lasting, and it's not permanent. So I think that the way I'm interpreting it is, the stretch may make it more comfortable, like you become, it's less uncomfortable over time after you've done it a certain number of times, or if you're leaving it in for, like you said, Dara, this person is wearing it. I believe they'll become less, it'll become less painful over time and they can develop a comfort level. But in terms of how long the actual stretch, any true lasting change of shape, it's not, I don't believe that it's going to be permanent from what I can see.
Okay.
yeah, I think as I said that the most it's a lot of things is the answer is it depends, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, as
It
in most kinks.
right? It depends.
Right.
What how long are you leaving it in for? Are you what size is it? I think somebody like the person you know who has it in all the time, the odds are
Yeah.
going to be greater for him that it will stretch versus
Hmm.
somebody who is doing a sounding scene maybe once a month, once every other month,
Yeah, I
right?
think
Like
Hmm.
his
they're
purpose
very
is to keep it
different.
open.
He's trying.
Like, that's
Okay,
why
that's his
he does it.
goal.
Yeah.
But, nothing is people can make educated guesses, but we don't
Hmm.
know anything for 100% sure.
I think anything we were, if we tried to make any kind of
Shh.
conclusion, there will be someone who will appear and say, "Oh, wait a minute! I can tell you, I'm proof of something different." So yeah, there's always, differences in how different bodies will heal and respond and react, whatever the different circumstances. I'm sure you can find a range of responses.
Yeah.
If you're a urologist and you listen to Pink Kink podcast, please contact us and let us know what the fuck the answer is.
Yeah, and a lot of it too, I think it, like, depends because again, my stents go way up, which is why the stent is, like, almost a foot long versus what you tend to use in sounding is not a foot long.
No,
Right,
thank you.
right.
Right, so it also I think it depends on where in the process you've got the sounding thing going, and so I think where you put it for sounding, you're probably maybe the odds are against it being permanent. That would be just my educated guess based upon my not sounding knowledge, but my urethra stent kidney issues sound knowledge.
And actually, and I will say, the sounds that I am most comfortable using, my preferred sounds, The sound itself, actually, Rara just made me think of this. The sound itself is actually probably about a foot long. Uh, the tool itself is very long. And the ones that I like, they have a very smooth bulb on the end of them. And that little bulb is the only part that I'm actually inserting. So even though the sound is that long, it's only a few centimeters of it that I'm using. And I did actually, I wonder, well, we're on sound, we're on audio, so you can't hear it, but I'll show you, Dara. I did just buy an electro sound. I have
Ooh.
an electrode, a sounding electrode that goes in my wand.
See, and that's exactly what I fucking want.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I need to come over to your house and you can train me.
Yeah, I mean, I will make sure to put some pictures in social media when we do the episode so people
Can see, get
know what
visuals.
we're talking about because like I'm curious as to what it looks like because I'm sure it looks nothing like what I
Well, Noir,
use.
you can just send pictures of like your electro sound and
Yeah.
like a basic one and a couple of other things. That'd work really well, I think.
Okay, certainly. It looks like an old school, if you're old enough to remember when TVs had antennas, it looks like a long metal pole with a little ball on the end of it, like an old
Oh,
school
rabbit
TV antenna.
ears.
Rabbit ears. I have a few sets. So, yes, I will send pictures of the sounds that I have.
Oh, meanwhile, I've just Googled, and Google is a very fun place. And I'm looking at beaded urethral sounds, a
Yes.
10-speed mode, quiver vibrating, penis plug urethra sound.
Hmm.
Okay, so these sounds look fucking nothing like what I pull out of my body. So, and
Well,
much,
good.
much smaller, actually. Oh, that one's big. That one goes, no,
There are lots
no.
of there is a wide range of
Ooh.
what they can look like.
Now here's an interesting one. This one is specifically an adjustable metal dilator urethral
Mhm.
rod, where obviously the point is it's to dilate. Ha. Okay, this is more what I'm looking for. So this is a shaft shocker urethral sound. And this is more what I'm thinking, where it looks like those metal straws that you
Uh-huh.
use
Oh,
so we
Jesus
Mhm.
don't do
Christ, don't use a
plastic.
straw.
Uh-huh.
No,
Don't do a straw.
I'm just saying that's
No.
what it looks like.
Don't
I'm
do
not
a
saying
metal
But
straw.
that's what you
I'm
should
just saying.
use.
I'm just saying, for those of you who think, don't fucking use a straw.
It's very sharp on the ends, and I
Yeah,
can imagine lots
the
of ways
ones
for that
I'm
to cause
looking for are
problems.
very rounded at the bottom so that it is safe. But that's what it
Smooth
looks
is
like.
important.
Ooh, you're a smooth dilator. Sorry.
No, no, stop it.
So now
So
also with depending on how the dilator is made,
it comes in
um,
pink.
yeah,
Oh no, now Rara's gonna get sounding.
once
No,
they're
no.
inserted, once they're inserted, like you don't have to push it or pull anything. So you'll notice they kind of have a weight to them, like most of the solid metal ones. They have a little weight, and so once you have it inserted, you just slowly you can let gravity, just kind of like the weight and gravity itself will pull it down, and it'll kind of settle at a good place. And so then the next level of question is, what happens if the person is aroused to the point of orgasm? And then that's a debate again for skill and preference and comfort. But there are a lot of pros and cons to know about what happens if you're going to leave that in while the person is having an orgasm or not. Depending on if it's straight or curved, if it has a curve, if it's not straight, there can be some risks involved in trying to remove it while the person is having an orgasm. From my experience and my comfort level, I'm only comfortable trying to remove it during an orgasm if it's the
Mm-hmm.
straight type sound. But you have to think about things too, like if the sound is still inserted during ejaculation, depending on the timing of it, there's a timing where the ejaculate is building up with the sound there, and then the extra pressure can be arousing, can add to the pleasure.
Does
However,
it
there's
push the
also
sound out when
a
they ejaculate?
it's not so much it's not like a volcano.
Because
It's not
that's what my
visually and physically like
I'm just like a psh, sorry.
I'm sure there's some men out there who believe that it's that strong. Or you know what, as I'm
I
saying
mean,
it,
that's what I was picturing.
there might be someone Let me say that there might be someone out there who their ejaculate is so powerful that they can blow the sound out. Maybe that person is out there.
If you are, can you let us know? We have questions.
Please video this and send it to
Even
us
better.
because
Oh,
I'm fascinated.
Okay, I'm going to apologize to listeners because you can't see, but I'm going to tell Doris something, and I want Noir to watch Doris' face. Okay, ready?
Okay.
So
I'm already puking, Rara.
no.
What the hell?
This is not something that's going to upset you. I just
Okay.
found, ready? An e-stim, electrical urethral sounding electrosex with power box and massage pad.
Is it a little
That's
small?
the face I wanted. That was the
I have
face I wanted.
I
We
have
are
a
buying
sound.
that.
I have a sound for my e-stim. I
want it.
have a sound. I have the
I want it.
sounding electrode with my e-stim.
All right, hold on.
I want it.
I'm
I want it.
sending
I
you
want
the
it. I
link
want it.
right now.
I want it.
The other
Sending
thing
you
that I
the
was gonna
link
say,
right now.
The
while
way
we
you
were
were saying that, I thought you were going to say something to make me
Something
go,
bad?
"Bleh."
No. I as much fun as that is to do, I wouldn't do that when you're already not feeling 100%.
Oh,
Thank
I want to
you.
get this last thing I will say
Go,
though.
go, go.
It can also be problematic if the person ejaculates and there's something clogging it and they get the backflow and the semen does not come out, can be a medical situation. So again, like
Mm.
I'm just putting that out there to say, look more, read more, ask more questions, because there's more to this to know and understand. And I am not claiming to be the end all be all expert on it. Understand the difference in what happens if you leave the sound in and the ejaculate is not able to escape the body.
Good to know.
All right,
Know the
Dara,
pros and cons.
I sent it
I
to
got
you.
I'm already looking.
Merry Christmas, dear.
Woo-hoo. Oh, it's on sale.
Uh-huh. And if you sign up for the email system or something, you get like another 10% off. Just saying.
Okay, we're buying this.
Yeah.
Pink
I
Kink
figured.
money, you're going right to this thing.
So
It's
is
And it's on
research.
sale.
Is
It's
it
It's on sale.
research.
is it a
So
little
yes.
small thing, maybe like about 2 inches?
No,
No.
it's like it's a
That's something
normal.
else? Okay.
It's a whole kit, man. Here, I'm going to send this to you.
Oh yeah.
So
send
it's
it to
got the
me.
pads, which by the way, on this picture, they're putting the pads wrong.
Okay.
They put it on the chest. That's a hell to the no.
I can't totally see it. Yeah,
Yeah,
send it to
that's
I'm
me.
gonna
okay.
send it to you.
She'll send it to you. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Fascinating.
There's a glare through the video. I can't quite
Yeah,
see.
I'm
That's okay.
sending it to you right now.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, this is absolutely fucking fascinating.
Yeah, what I have is I have a little small one that goes in. Again, like about the length of the glands. The little
Gotcha.
e-stim one that I have.
All right. So since we're getting near the end, as much fun as we are having, what advice would you give to someone curious but nervous about trying sounding on either side, whether they're want to give or receive? What would be the advice you would give them?
It is difficult for me to see this being something that two people who are both zero experience players would do well together
Yeah.
safely.
That's like
Um,
two virgins having sex for the first time. It's not really.
yeah.
Somebody needs to know what they're doing.
somebody in the situation needs to know what the fuck is going on. Um, and I say that cautiously because as I listen to the show and I've listened to, you've got a lot of people who are in places where they don't have the good fortune that we have of having a community around them. They don't have people that they can go to and really try this. So I would just say, for people who are in that situation, they really want to try. This is not going to be the thing though that I encourage you to do by yourself, unsupervised. If you don't have anything else, at least really finding a kink friendly doctor. This really gets into medical stuff, and if you don't know what you're doing and you're not safe, it really can cause some problems. So being able to have someone who is educated and informed and can help you make sure that you are safe if this is something you want to try.
All right. Excellent advice.
Love it. Well, Noir, thank you so much for coming on here today and talking to us about this.
Ta-da.
We are
Joystick.
this was a
I still got that. I'm back at the joystick.
The joystick
after
is
that
gonna be
very after
amazing.
that very serious closing, it is a shit ton of fun though. And the joystick version, when you get to the joystick part, it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Oh, we're gonna definitely do that.
Do the joystick
yeah.
scene.
Pac-Man.
Na Pac-Man. Sorry.
What?
that was
That's
Back,
not.
back to pack,
I
back to Pac-Man.
know.
Oh my God.
That was Adam West playing Pac-Man.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all fine. See, that got y'all doing it. I can't help
Pac-Man.
it.
Forever.
Pac-Man with bat wings.
No. All right, now we just need a graphic of Pac-Man being sounded.
Batman being sounded.
I-
I'd like to get Batman down in
never
that cave.
see. Does Pac-Man have a body, a lower half
No.
of a body to even have a penis or
No,
vagina?
but you can have the sound go toward it and it making the face like, ooh.
Yeah,
Pac-Man having an orgasm, yes.
I've always got the impression that Pac-Man was kind of like asexual.
Yeah, what parts
But
would
Miss
Pac-Man?
Pac-Man is so sexy. That's
She
a
is.
Okay, well,
There's
clearly.
definitely something going on there.
Okay, we have just veered so far off the road at this point. All right.
Bring it back, Rara. We
Very
gotta
good.
close this out.
I just want to say thank you so much. Dara is on a mission now to learn about this.
Absolutely.
I hope we answered everybody's questions. And if you want to know more about sounding or have more questions, I will post the link to Noir's social media. She'll choose which one she wants me to link to in the show notes so that you can find her.
Yeah, bug her, not us. We don't know what the fuck we're
I
talking
don't know
about.
nothing about nothing.
They can find me on FET.
Oh, perfect. All right. Sounds
Mhm.
wonderful. Thanks again.
Indeed,
Thank you,
indeed.
Noir.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a minute of our fun and educational content. New episodes drop every Friday.
If you love what we do and want to show support, there are several ways. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast. You can support our affiliates or help spread the word about our kinky podcast to your friends.
Don't forget to rate and review Pink Kink on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Those 5-star reviews go a long way in boosting our podcast through the algorithm and reaching more listeners.
Sign up for our Pink Kink Institute classes. Shop at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique. Stay connected with us on social media. You'll find all the links on our Linktree posted in the show notes.
Your support means the world to us. So until next time, stay pretty, stay safe,
And stay twisted.